So what is the solution interval of the inequality below? The question asks. 9 is less than the absolute value of 4x minus 3, which is less than or equal to 25. Here, I will solve this question in 2 steps. In first step, I will solve this red condition. And in the second step, I will solve the blue condition. So first, let's solve the red one. 9 is less than the absolute value of 4x minus 3. What does that mean? That means that the distance between 4x minus 3 and 0 must be greater than 9. Therefore, I can say 9 is less than 4x minus 3. If 4x minus 3 is greater than 9, then the distance between 4x minus 3 and 0 will be greater than 9. Or I can also say that 4x minus 3 is less than minus 9. Because if 4x minus 3 is less than minus 9, the distance between 4x minus 3 and 0 will be again greater than 9. So let's solve the left one. I will pass minus 3 to the left hand side of the inequality. I will have 12 less than 4x. And then I will divide both sides of the inequality by 4. Then I will get x greater than 3. Now let's solve the right one. I will pass minus 3 to the right hand side of the inequality this time. I will have 4x is less than minus 6. Then I will divide both sides again by 4 and I will have x lower than minus 3 over 2. So I see that x can be any value from minus infinity up to minus 3 over 2 unified with 3 up to infinity for this red case. Now let's solve the blue one. The absolute value of 4x minus 3 is lower than or equal to 25, which means the distance between 4x minus 3 and 0 must be less than 25, less than or equal to 25. So I can say 4x minus 3 must be less than or equal to 25. And also 4x minus 3 must be greater than or equal to minus 25. Because if 4x minus 3 is less than minus 25, then the distance between 4x minus 3 and 0 will be greater than 25. Therefore, 4x minus 3 must be greater than or equal to minus 25 as well. So from these two inequalities, I can write one single inequality like minus 25 less than or equal to 4x minus 3, which is less than or equal to 25. Then I will add 3 to all sides of this inequality and I will have 4x in the middle. On the left I will have minus 22 and on the right I will have 28. Then I will divide all sides by 4 and I will have x in the middle, and on the left hand side I will have minus 22 over 4, which is minus 11 over 2. And on the right hand side of the inequality, I will have 28 over 4, which is 7. So from this one, I see that if x is between minus 11 over 2 and 7, then x satisfies the blue condition. So in order to solve the question, we need to find the x values that satisfies both red and blue conditions. Therefore, we will compute the intersection of these intervals that we found for red condition and blue condition. So we see that x can be any value between minus 11 over 2 up to minus 3 over 2 unified with 3 up to 7. And this gives us the answer for this question. Now let's continue with the second question. The question again says, what is the solution interval of the inequality below? The inequality is 16 over 5 is greater than 4 over x. Here we have two cases. X can be lower than 0 or x can be higher than 0. X cannot be 0 because it's in the denominator of this 4 over x fraction. Therefore, it cannot be 0. So we have two cases, as I said. X can be greater than 0 or x can be lower than 0. I will solve the question for both these cases. So case 1, x is greater than 0. So I will write the inequality here once more. 16 over 5 is greater than 4 over x. So first I will divide both sides by 4 and I will get 4 over 5 greater than 1 over x. Then I will pass 5 to the right hand side of the inequality and x to the left hand side of the inequality. Then I will get 4x is greater than 5. And then I will divide both sides by 4. I will have x greater than 5 over 4. Therefore, the solution interval for this case is x can be any value between 5 over 4 up to infinity. Now, this time, let's solve for case 2, which is x is lower than 0. Here, I will again write the inequality. 16 over 5 is greater than 4 over x. Again, I will divide both sides by 4. I will get 4 over 5, which is greater than 1 over x. And here, I will pass 5 to the right hand side first, and then x to the left hand side. So first, I will pass 5 to the right hand side, and I will get 4 greater than 5 over x. And now I will pass x to the left hand side, and I will get 4x lower than 5. The reason the inequality symbol changed from greater than to less than is because passing x to the left hand side of the inequality means that I am multiplying both sides of the inequality by x, and x is, as I said, lower than 0 in our second case. And when we multiply or divide both sides of our inequality by a negative number, the inequality symbol changes to its opposite. Here x is negative, so the inequality symbol changed from greater than to lower than. So I am continuing from here. 4x is lower than 5. I will divide both sides by 4 now, and I will get x lower than 5 over 4. Therefore, from this case, x can be any value between minus infinity up to 0. Not 5 over 4, it's 0. You might have expected 5 over 4 instead of 0. But for this case, the solution interval of x is from minus infinity to 0.
Because the fact still remains.
We said that for this case, x is lower than 0. Therefore, we will discard x values that are greater than 0. Which is why we will have an interval from minus infinity up to 0. Therefore, the final answer of our question is from minus infinity up to 0, unified with 5 over 4 up to infinity. This one comes from the first case, and this one comes from the second case. And this is our answer.